Just before we begin this video, I decided to announce that I've created a brand new Discord server called Mad Kaiser's Content Gaming Hub. This server in question is completely brand new and it's something for not only my community, but something I think both aspiring content creators as well as even fan artists or artists in general couldn't get a kick out of. Given the fact that nowadays content creators as well as artists in general have, I think, been a little bit more underappreciated, especially with the rise of obviously AI, as well as the whole factor of the YouTube algorithm not leaning into their favor. So I thought, why not make it, a server where I think we can appreciate all of our content's work here as well. Support each other and just show that there is something to be proud of when making content and artwork in general. And just, have, a good, relaxing, chill time with the community in a sense. So if you'd like to follow my Discord server, I'll have a link in the description down below. That said, let's get back to the video. Hey everyone, what up? Mad Kaiser here. Now with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth just under the horizon, I thought it would be a good time to do a special video to celebrate that. And so I decided why not gather me as well as a bunch of content creators to talk about, just essential Square Enix JRPGs that you should absolutely play. Especially given the fact that Square Enix has a variety of them. Some of them from their mainstay IPs and some of them completely original and maybe even underappreciated but still worth playing regardless. But before we begin, if you like what you're seeing here, then by all means, like the video, click the subscribe button if you're new, and hit that bell notification icon if you want more JRPG content from yours truly. Not only that, but currently I have reached 750 subscribers, which thank you guys so much, and hopefully someday before the end of this year, I'll be able to do my long-awaited 750 subscriber special of a game known as Persona 5 Royal, where I'll be able to not only play that, but also do a very special review for that game, so please do look forward to that. And without further ado, I think it's time to get the ball rolling, starting with my first guest on this list.
What's up everyone, I'm Luca from Feiito Gaming and I'm really happy to get a chance to talk about a Square Enix JRPG that people don't talk about enough. And that is Trials of Mana. Trials of Mana is a remake of the 1995 original, released on the Super Nintendo, and I can recommend it to everyone who likes modern action RPGs with just the right amount of retro to it. In Trials of Mana, you can choose between 6 characters as the main and then pick 2 characters that you recruit as your companions during your story. Every character has their own story which you can play before you recruit them, which not only gives you a better understanding of what the characters' motivations are, but also how they feel in combat. Trials of Mana's combat is really straightforward in the best possible way. You can use a light and heavy attack, dodge, use skills and an ultimate attack, so quite basic, but that's why it almost feels like a hack and slash gameplay. During combat you can swap between characters to shake up the gameplay a bit. The best part about Trials of Mana though is the class system. Every character can unlock multiple classes, first 2 advanced classes and then 2 branching from each of them. These class changes not only feel very significant, they also increase replay value a lot, as you can mix and match characters and class combinations the next time you start a playthrough. Overall, the simplicity of the combat and the class system create an incredibly satisfying experience that never gets boring. And I haven't even mentioned the many fun boss fights. The gorgeous graphics and unbelievably well remastered soundtracks are just a cherry on top. If you're looking for a shorter action JRPG that captures the essence of older titles while looking incredibly beautiful, then please check out Trials of Mana, it's so good. Thanks so much for having me, Mad Kaiser. I can't wait to see what everyone else's pick is. Alright, see you guys next time.
Hello, John aka ChickenFillets here, and thank you to Mad Kaiser for having me on to, recommend a Square Enix game that you should play. I mean, with any collab, you know what I'm going to talk about. Yes, it's Harvestella.
Now, Harvestella, straight off the bat, is not a farming sim game. This is an action JRPG that you should definitely play. Harvestella has an epic sci-fi story that you will sink your teeth right into, and yes, you heard me correctly, this is a sci-fi story. The game sports a fun, action-based combat system where you will be able to switch between jobs in combat. So for example, our character could switch between jobs in battle, so if 1 minute they could be using fire or thunder using their mage skills, where the next second they could be fighting with a sword as a fighter-based class. So with the more jobs that you'll learn in this game, you'll be able to craft the perfect loadout in battle. The game sports a gorgeous and lush world, and you'll fall in love with these characters. And yes, there is some farming elements in this game, but you know what? The farming side of this game is fun, and there is a reason for it. You will craft medicines and foods, etc., which will help you throughout your journey in Harvestella. Did I mention as well that this has a utterly brilliant soundtrack as well? Harvestella is a utter joy to play and was a complete surprise to me about how much I would love this game. And this is why I just sing the praises of this game, because I want people to experience this underrated game from Square Enix. Now if you're sat on the fence with this Nintendo Switch game from Square Enix, well, there is a demo available that you'll be able to try out, which I really hope will get you buying this game. Thank you to Mad Kaiser for having me on this JRPG collaboration, and remember, play Harvestella.
What is good, everyone? 90s handheld gamer here, and a Square Enix JRPG that I would recommend to everyone to play is Live Alive. Live Alive was originally released in 1994 and was exclusive to Japan until we finally got this awesome HD 2D remake here in 2002. And the reason why I recommend this to everyone is because although this game was originally made so many years ago back in the 90s, I believe this is still truly one of the most unique JRPGs out there that you can play, as this game features 8 different stories, which are all their own self-contained stories with great characters, great writing, and in the end, it all comes together for an epic ending. And another thing that I just really love about this game is that it features a pretty unique combat system. It's a turn-based RPG mixed with a little bit of strategy RPG, as you have to move your characters around on this grid-based system, and the way you position them really does matter, because you'll either be able to do more damage with your attacks or you'll be able to avoid attacks, and you can also do some long range and close range attacks. And I really love the prehistoric chapter in this one, how the characters are so unique and charming and cool, and they talk without any words. And I also really love the near future. That story is just epic. The characters, the main character is amazing. The music in that story is amazing. And this game is just so cool how every time you beat a story, it almost feels like you beat a game. You really feel like you're making progress. So that's my pick that I would recommend everyone should play for a Square Enix JRPG. If you're into JRPG content, make sure you subscribe to Mr. JRPG himself, Mad Kaiser. Peace.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm ShadowRoninn here. I'm here to talk to you about one of the games from Square Enix that I really enjoyed, and give you a couple reasons why you should, play this game. It's Star Ocean 2. It's an absolute gem. Multiple playthroughs, because you choose between 2 main characters. One is Claude, one is Wayne. List of other characters, some characters inside in between. There are certain, party members that you can only pick up if you play Claude's story, and there's only certain party members you can pick up if you play Wayne's story. So it's kind of like, you choose, depending on who your character is, you can, depending on some of your cast members. There's also only cast members that join if other cast members join you, so it is customization to your whole entire team, which is pretty cool. And also, there are PA moments, and there's like little skits where you learn about the other characters and your party member, making it seem like you guys are going through the journey together. You learn about their likes, their dislikes. The characters grow stronger together. There's also one of the coolest thing is that your skills are also customized. You get points where you use those points to develop individual characters' abilities. And the game offers a lot of different abilities. There's design them to be combat focused, magical focused, more crafting abilities, like anything your heart desires, you can do what you want with the game. It keeps it like that. There's a lot of things to focus on, gameplay mechanics, mobile characters, epic storylines, anything and everything. If you're looking for something to have longevity, definitely try out ShadowRoninn. You won't be regretted. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Mandy from Mandy Plays. Huge thanks to Matt Kaiser for having me on his collab. I do appreciate it. Now here is my Square Enix game of choice, Nier Automata. One of my favorite games of all time, and I'm happy to just talk about it. Now Nier Automata is out for the Switch, Xbox, PlayStation 4 and 5, and PC. Now the entire plot of Nier Automata, if I were to summarize it, there's a lot of things going on, but basically the plot revolves around two android units, one named 2B and 9S, who work for Yorha. Yorha is an elite military force consisting of other androids. Yorha's goal is to eliminate the robots from the Earth so the humans could fly down from the moon and recolonize the Earth. Though there is way more story to that, but if I talk about it, then I might spoil something. So I highly recommend you actually play the game because it's really good. But not only that, the gameplay is fantastic. It was developed by Platinum Games, you know, the people who made Bayonetta. So the gameplay is very fast paced, combo heavy, and a lot of hacking and slashing. And I will say this now, you want to play even after the credits roll. That's all I'm gonna say. The game also tackles a lot of heavy themes like existential dread, the meaning of life, what is God, all that good stuff, but it's portrayed in a more digestible way where it's not ham-fisted, but it still gets you in the feels and it makes you think. And all this is just paired with the most beautiful soundtrack I have ever had the privilege of putting in my ears. It is so good. It's just amazing. Highly recommend it. Again, Matt Kaiser, thank you for having me on. So that was it for my part, and as always, play a good game. Peace.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy RadBash, and special shout out to my homie Mad Kaiser for having on an epic collaboration. And we're supposed to talk to you about Square Enix JRPGs you must play. So I knew the second I was invited on this, I had to talk about Kingdom Hearts 1 because I love that game. Surprise, surprise, RadBash is talking about Kingdom Hearts again. There are two games I will talk about until the day I die, and that is Kingdom Hearts 1 and Dark Cloud. So Kingdom Hearts is basically the love child of Disney and Final Fantasy. It is, of course, a JRPG where you take on the role of Sora and you team up with Donald and Goofy and other various Disney characters like Jack Skellington, Aladdin, and even Tarzan. And you go to the Disney worlds, obviously, and you take on one of my favorite aspects of the game, the villains. So you'll end up fighting Clayton, Ursula, Captain Hook, things like that, which I always loved as a kid. You know, there's something special about being taken into the worlds we grew up with watching on TV and being able to explore them and be friends with all the Disney characters and, you know, be enemies of the villains and such. But the story is also really something special. It focuses a lot on friendship and love and things like that. And nowadays that's really important because personally I think there's too much negativity, and something like this really just makes you appreciate things a lot more. And so as a JRPG, I really enjoy, yes, the action aspect of it, but really the story is something special. Now, I know what you're saying, Rad, the story makes zero sense. That's why we're not talking about the other Kingdom Hearts games. That's why we're talking about one, when it made sense. Everything after that it gets confusing. I won't disagree with you, it takes a tumble and it starts to get weird, but Kingdom Hearts 1 was truly something special, and if you haven't already, I definitely recommend you check out Kingdom Hearts, because it is truly something special and you do not want to miss out on such an awesome, epic JRPG. So there you have it. Have you played Kingdom Hearts? Let us all know down below in the comments, and again, Kaiser, thank you for having me on, bro. Like always, guys, stay radical.
Hi, I'm Milla from Milla's Game Room, and thank you to Mad Kaiser for inviting me onto his channel to share my pick for a Square Enix game that you must play. And my pick is the game that properly introduced Japan's national video game franchise to the West, Dragon Quest VIII Journey for the Cursed King, available for the PlayStation 2, 3DS and mobile devices. This classic RPG has you play as a silent protagonist who fights for a way to undo the curse plaguing the Kingdom of Trodain as well as its king and princess by chasing down and defeating the evil Dollmagus. This turn-based RPG features great voice acting, beautiful visuals, memorable characters and a unique world with lots of secrets to discover. Like all Dragon Quest games, it's a fully standalone experience and has a great story to carry you along throughout its lengthy adventure. This game introduced Dragon Quest to the West after a long hiatus and for the first time in Europe. This is why many people, including Square Enix themselves, consider Dragon Quest VIII the start of the franchise overseas. So many older gamers have a lot of nostalgia for this game, and it's easy to see why. Even now in 2024, it's a must-play game and is considered one of the peaks of the series alongside Dragon Quest V and XI. I played the 3DS version, which added some extra content while reducing the grinding. It did sacrifice some of the graphical beauty and orchestral music from the PS2 version though, so there is little debate within the Dragon Quest community over which version to play. I recommend the 3DS version, whether on native hardware or via emulation and mods on PC, to mitigate the few drawbacks of this version. However, the PS2 version also still holds up today and is worth playing, especially for old school RPG fans. Regardless of which version you play though, Dragon Quest VIII is a truly fantastic game and is a must-play Square Enix RPG, and hopefully Square Enix re-releases this title on modern consoles and PC sometime in the future. Absolutely deserves a true definitive edition. Anyway, thank you so much for having me on Mad Kaiser, and thank you everyone for hearing my pick, and I'll see you over at Milla's Game Room.
Hi everybody, my name is Amanda, and I was so happy to be asked to be part of this collaboration, as not only do I get to talk about an amazing JRPG from Square Enix, but also one of my very favourite video games. That game being Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of an Elusive Age. Is there anything more iconic than this music? Now, the soundtrack isn't the only reason I recommend this game. The graphics are all bright and vibrant, providing an overall feeling of happiness when playing through the game, with all the familiar monsters faithfully brought to life with the updated graphics. Dragon Quest XI was a game released to celebrate the series' 30th anniversary. And with many RPGs focusing on action combat, Dragon Quest XI doesn't forget its roots and sticks with a turn-based combat system. All the monsters appear on the world map, so you do not have to worry about random encounters as well. If you are a long-time fan of Dragon Quest, there are also plenty of nods to previous series scattered throughout Dragon Quest XI. It is truly a stunning game and a game that anybody could find enjoyment with. Keeping in mind it is also a long game, as once you finish the main storyline, a whole new storyline opens up in the post-game. However, I believe it's worth this time investment. Now, if you are going to pick this one up, I would recommend getting the definitive edition. This includes all the content from the original release but has some added extras such as more character-specific scenarios, the choice of playing with the original soundtrack or a grand orchestral version, the ability to switch between 2D and 3D graphic modes, and Japanese voice acting options. Dragon Quest XI is available on all modern consoles as well as PC, so regardless of where you game, you can play this one. Again, thank you for having me in this collaboration, and I'm excited to hear everybody else's recommendations.
Hi everyone, this is Myuabe and welcome to Mad Kaiser's new video. Thank you so much for having me on this project. My Square Enix JRPG choice is Final Fantasy XV Royal Edition. Final Fantasy XV follows Prince Noctis and his friends who are traveling to his fiance's home city to talk about wedding arrangements and his plan to take back his throne. I recommend the game for several reasons. It's beginner friendly. You have 2 difficulty settings, which are easy or normal. You have the option to do the tutorial before playing the main game. It's really helpful in learning how to fight against enemies. In my opinion, I thought the open world part of the game is cool. You can either run in it, drive around in the regalia, or even ride on chocobos. The graphics and animation still hold up since its release in 2016. I'm aware that people weren't very happy with the original game that came out in 2016 because there's too many holes in the plot, but with the DLC, you'll get more information about most of the characters and the story. If you are an English dub fan, there are several great voice actors in the game like Ray Chase, Robbie Damon, Matthew Mercer, and many more. I recommend giving Final Fantasy XV Royal Edition a try, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Final Fantasy XV was my introduction to the Final Fantasy games. It made me want to play more from the Final Fantasy series. Maybe consider playing it after playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Thanks again, Mad Kaiser, for inviting me to participate in this collaboration, and I look forward to checking out everyone else's choices in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!
Hello everyone, my name is Fedro from CozyFejiro here on YouTube, and I want to thank Mad Kaiser for inviting me to be part of this awesome video. So when I was thinking about Square Enix games that I could recommend to someone, I had to have a tough time thinking about this because I'm still working on the Square Enix catalog. Because if you don't know, Square Enix is literally one of the forefathers, or I guess the founding fathers of JRPGs, and there's a plethora of great games that come from Square Enix. So the game that I'm going to recommend is kind of more of a recency bias, since it's probably one of the most standout ones that I played recently, and that is none other than Final Fantasy XVI. The world of Final Fantasy XVI is called Valisthea, and it is ruled by 6 nations that have access to enchanted crystals and dominance. People who can harness the power of the crystals are branded and sent to live as slaves, while others serve as hosts for national emir. As the Blight, a deadly disease, spreads over the continent, tensions between the countries worsen. In order to bring prosperity and peace to their own countries, each nation is competing with others for control of the mother crystals. In this game, we play as Clive Rosfield, who, after seeing his country destroyed and his younger brother killed, sets out on a quest for revenge to track down the evil icon Ifrit. Nevertheless, I think the story managed to convey the harshness and devastation of the world without going too far. I think the game does an excellent job of handling a lot of themes such as loss, retaliation, sadness, love, family, justice, freedom, and a long list more are covered in this game. I believe that this narrative is not given enough respect, and those who simply criticize it for being too depressing or dark are unable to appreciate everything that this tale has to offer. Now, Final Fantasy XVI was the game that actually pushed me to get the PS5 in the first place, and was actually my first ever Final Fantasy game ever played, and I had such an amazing time with it. Now, I know Final Fantasy XVI is kind of a controversial title, but at this point, which modern Final Fantasy isn't a controversial topic? Now, the reason why I love the FF16 so much is that it explores a great amount of themes such as grief, brother and family relationships, as well as the freedom and the fight to have your own choice and the willpower to have that choice. I absolutely loved how they explore those themes, and I understand it's a pretty dark and grim story, but I love that stuff, and so I had a really great time. So I highly recommend playing FF16, and with the recent DLC that came out at the end of last year and the new DLC coming out around, I think, March of this coming year, you should definitely check out FF16. Again, thank you so much, Mad Kaiser, for inviting me to be part of this video.
Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core is quite literally one of the best Final Fantasy games to play within the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. Although narratively a bit wacky, especially with Nomura's direction in writing the story.
No way. He just ate my hair.
I still really love it. I mean, I like Kingdom Hearts, so that's one of the reasons why.
What's that scent? It's so familiar. Darkness.
But to me, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core is truly a heartfelt story with Zack's origin story within this game, which to me it seems like it'll have quite the narrative impact within Rebirth. So if you haven't played this already, I very much compel you to. This game doesn't take too long to beat. It took me personally 27 hours. However, I also did a lot of extra stuff because the combat is very, very fun in this game with the remaster. The original is kind of janky, but the remaster's combat feels like a remix combat, and man, it made such an impact on the final product because this game feels so much better to play and truly is honestly addicting. So if you want to do all this extra content, go ahead, because there's quite a lot of it. And the materia systems here, and that's really fun to use. And overall, in Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, you'll just have a lot of fun and have content that will hold you over until Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Hey everybody, it's Femtrooper, and thank you to Mad Kaiser for having me on this collab. I'm so excited to talk about one of my favorite games of all time, and it's a Square Enix JRPG I would recommend to anyone, and that is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Maybe my thoughts on this game are a little controversial, but I enjoyed Remake more than the original game. Don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy VII is a masterpiece, it's a great game, it's a great Final Fantasy entry, it's great overall, but I have to say, out of all the Final Fantasy games I've played, it was never one that I connected with. I found it a little convoluted and just, I don't know, it didn't grab me. So Final Fantasy Remake came out, and then I was excited because I thought, oh, you know, it's a different take. Everything from the original game just made sense to me. I just got it, it clicked. I loved it. It's incredibly cinematic. It's really, really easy for newcomers to get into it. If you've never played a JRPG, it's a wonderful way to get into them. It's not turn-based like the original, but the action combat is really good, and there's difficulty settings, and I swear it's really fun. Everything about the characters made sense. I really connected more with Cloud as a person, or with Aerith, or with Tifa, or with whoever. They were just really, really, really well done in a way that it just didn't come across to me in the original. And so I love Final Fantasy VII Remake so much more, and I seriously recommend it to anybody. It's a really amazing game, and I would put it in my top JRPGs probably of all time. Music-wise, this game is fantastic. It takes everything from the original and just amps it up because it's fully orchestrated, so you're hearing those amazing songs, but done almost the way they were intended to be heard. It's so good. I really recommend this game. I am so excited to play Rebirth soon. It's gonna be great. I don't care that they have drawn this out into like 3 games. They're gonna be great. It's wonderful. Thanks again, Mad Kaiser, for having me on. Really excited to see what everybody else picks because some of my favorite games are made by Square Enix, so it will be nice to see this amazing list.
And thank you all for your wonderful picks. They were absolutely wonderful recommendations all around. Now, before we wrap things up, I thought I would give my pick. And what can I say? It's none other than the legendary GOAT itself, Chrono Trigger. Now, this game is considered to be obviously regarded as one of Square Enix's best JRPGs, if not maybe even the best JRPG to come out from the company, given that it's a combination of having been made by the Dream Team itself, having, you know, the father of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi, the father of Dragon Quest, which was Yuji Horii, and of course even the creator of Dragon Ball himself, Akira Toriyama, all clubbed together to make this wonderful JRPG, and having the things that we loved in both Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest all rolled into one incredible package. Having things like just this wonderful visuals from Akira Toriyama, as well as having an amazing combat system, especially involving the dual tech and triple tech system, combining lots of team attacks from your party members, and there's multiple varieties of them that you can mix and match between them. It was such an amazing feature, and definitely one of the more engaging combat systems, especially with using the ATB system from past Final Fantasy games. Not only that, but the soundtrack itself by both Yasunori Mitsuda and Nobuo Uematsu is just legendary. It's just absolutely wonderful. And even the story itself, as well as the characters, were all just memorable and enjoyable, with the whole time traveling aspect and being able to unite different characters from different eras to stop an inevitable threat that would doom all timelines, including the future itself. It was just absolutely wonderful. It's basically the all-star JRPG from Square Enix to date, and it has left such a wonderful legacy to the point that even Final Fantasy VII Rebirth seems to be taking cues from it, especially with the whole synergy team attacks thing, taking cues straight from Chrono Trigger itself, which isn't a surprise because even Yasunori Kitase himself, who's involved in this game, is also involved in Chrono Trigger itself. And honestly, that's pretty cool to see. And that is something I think you definitely guys should get, whether you have it on your Super Famicom, PS1, or especially the best version, maybe the Nintendo 3DS. And heard the Steam version is now decent, so by all means, if you haven't played this game, I wholeheartedly you do. Anyway, with that said, that'll be the end of this list. Thank you to the amazing content creators who collaborated with this video. please check out their YouTube channels. I'll have their links in the description down below. That said, that's gonna be my list, so let me know down in the comments of an Essential Square Enix JRPG that you recommend. So until then, Mad Kaiser out.